Hello. Welcome to Mission Results with me, Almeron. Um, Yay, they did it. I did some stuff off camera. The biggest thing probably to know is that the one mission was a success. So, where is it? Errol unlocked Druid, by the way. That's the Mender 3, Wizard 5, Alchemistic 3. I'm going to have to take a look at that. Wrangler. So the mission was a success. I can do Wrangler, which is Knight 3 and Mender 3. So those are monster trainers. This is, I think, a class that came with the Missions and Monsters expansion, which lets me recruit monsters. So that would make sense. So I can make Wranglers now. I also hired a new recruit, Alm, based on Almeron, and also named after one of the main characters from Fire Emblem 2, Fire Emblem Gaiden. I just like the name. It works as an abbreviation for Almeron. So, yeah, let's take a look. I went ahead and hired him at level 8 as a Templar. So, I've just been sending people on missions since the last time to get some money and AP and experience. So, let's see. Resilience, debuff, one less turn, soothing chant, hit points in an area. Yeah, we'll do that. Holy chant, damage in an area. Okay. So, Templar looks like it's a close burst kind of class, but it's a mix of healing and offense, so that's pretty cool. You can get Power Strike, we'll do that, and then Evade Attack is next, and that's going to be amazing. So, maybe I'm going to wait and try to get you towards Resistance Expert, Mystic Shield. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess you've already... Errol's already got Smart Casting is basically a permanent passive as far as I'm concerned, because it makes AoEs just so much easier to deal with. I can cast an AoE and not worried that it's gonna hit the wrong person just because they were in the wrong or right space. So yeah, I'll just work on spells then. Let's see, you are doing Plague Doctor now. Mass Thorns because thorns are fun. There's gotta be, Okay, so this star, that's the mastery. You get a permanent +5 hit points, +5 mind, and +2 resist for mastering the class. Okay, so that's what that is. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, Druid 5. Druid has unlocked some things. A thing. Templar 5, Scoundrel 4. Okay. Cool. Oops, not that. You are learning things. You are learning night things. There it is. That's why you were learning night things, because you were unlocking Gunner, which is a very interesting outfit. The massive hat combined with I don't know, almost burlesque style dress, I guess, with the fishnet stockings. That's very interesting. But we're not changing your outfit. We're just changing your job. I just thought Kyukishu might want another way to shoot things. Sharpshooters who disable their targets from afar. Although that does mean Kikishu needs weapons again. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong thing. Sure. I suppose before I go any further, I'm not planning to do any story in this video. I am just... Oh my goodness, you're 1 point off. I'm going to go through the help menu, basically, is my plan. What were you going for? I'm going to go through the help menu, make sure I know I'm... At this point, I'm running into status effects that are different enough from what I'm used to with Final Fantasy games that I need to make sure I know what I'm dealing with. So that's kind of my plan, is to go do that. I think you were going for this. Knight 3, Wizard 3, and then because then Plague Doctor 3 and Fellblade 4. I suppose I could also go for... Well, you need Knight 3 to get to Wrangler 2, so why not? Ooh, and Gunner 4. We're just unlocking all kinds of stuff. It's pretty fantastic. I like variety. But yeah, I want to go through, I want to check status effects, I want to make sure I know what swimming is all about, because we're running into water now, and that's going to be a thing, I just know it. I was going to make you a knight. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to... I think smart casting is going to go off, stay off for now, just because, yeah, you know. Take your sword. You've got extras. Oh, okay, I see. It doesn't auto-max your gear. Interesting. Do I? I don't think I've got a... Yeah, I don't have a gun. I need a gun. Okay, well, I don't need you in the group, so I'm just gonna send some people out again. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to send some people out on random stuff. Money, yes please. We're going to send Lana, who doesn't want to be a knight for very long. Valorous, who is almost where I need her to be. And then Money. Let's see, you're level 10, 10, 9, 9, 9. Oh, I probably should have sent Valorous for this one. Send all them out. And then, let's see. Influence with for snakebite oil, that sounds good. And that's all of my people, so, okay, good enough. Anyway, so now they'll be doing that while I go and take a look at the help compendium. Okay, before any battle begins, maximum number, I got all that. So tips, advisable to position bulkier close-range fighters in front of fragile spellcasters and archer-type units. Okay, that's pretty understandable. Take the time to study the battlefield. Yep, I do that. Habit. But it is a good tip. You should definitely do that. Remember the long grass? That was part of why I had trouble with that one mission. I didn't know those enemies were there because I didn't look closely enough. If they can only recover from injuries if they sit out. Okay, I think that makes sense. turn order is determined by character's speed. Whenever you hover the cursor over a character, their portrait will extend to highlight when their turn will arrive. Blue border and facing right are allies. Red border and facing left are enemies. I'd figured most of that out, but the facing right thing is good to know because I'd noticed it in the last fight, but I don't think I said anything about it out loud, but my Vangal Mishka's looking to the right in blue. And then the enemy Vangals are looking to the left. So it's a good way to tell monsters, my monsters from their monsters if I'm missing the color. Movement. Move once, before or after their action. The distance is determined by their movement stat. Topography of the land may restrict your movement if there is a large elevation. The unit's jump determines whether they can traverse the obstacle. Movement and jump are determined by the character's class and can be increased with certain boot-type accessories. Good to know. I mean, yeah. Some units have other special traits that allow them to enter areas inaccessible to others. Swimming is a trait only available to certain classes and monsters. The character is able to swim, which allows them to move onto water and poisonous water tiles. They will deal lessened damage and receive more damage while swimming. That's good to know. A character can't open treasure or gather components while swimming. I found that out the hard way. Characters that cannot swim should take care lest they get shoved in and drown. So that's concerning. That's something I want to find out. Flying, burrowing, and teleporting units are indicated with the wing icon. Displace themselves instantly to their destination without walking. This allows them to ignore the heights of tiles. They won't trigger traps that aren't on the destination tile itself. Limited to monsters, but rare accessories and passive abilities can give human characters this trait. Hovering units are indicated with the winged boot icon, which allows them to hover over any liquid surface and ignore any ground traps. Okay, so this must be how I get that one treasure chest that's next to the water. I have to be hovering. So I gotta figure out how to hover. Targeting. One action, position is important. Regular attacks and many abilities deal additional damage from the side and more from the back. I think that went over that. After selecting a target, predicted outcome for damage and accuracy will be displayed. If it ability targets multiple characters, you can browse through. Yep, do that. Predicted damage amount is static and does not have any randomization involved, with the exception of critical hits and certain rare abilities. When an ability says it will do a certain amount of damage, it accurately reflects the amount of damage it will deal if it hits. Friendly fire is a real possibility. That's why I have smart casting. Check the predicted outcome to make sure you aren't damaging your allies or healing your enemies. Ranged attacks are not affected by line of sight, which is throwing me. If the target falls within the action's range, they can be hit even if there are obstacles or other characters in the way. So in Final Fantasy Tactics, the game I'm most familiar with that is of this style, ranged attacks were definitely a thing for line of sight. Line of sight was definitely a thing with ranged attacks. That's a better way to say that. My units who had firearms would frequently just shoot, and nothing would happen because there was a wall or something, or the height of the tile next to them was such that they didn't shoot over it. They shot into the wall or whatever it was, the cliff side or whatever. Whereas archers had an arcing, archers with a bow and not a crossbow could arc over terrain and other units to hit their chosen target. Looks like that's not a thing. I don't have to worry. I shouldn't have to worry about hitting my own characters with my bows and guns. If they're in the way, it looks like they just. If I can hit them, I can hit them. there's no line of sight. So that's good to know. That's really good to know. We've gone over items before, I think. Particularly useful early game before your healers have a chance to get stronger. Potions and remedies can be used on adjacent characters. Rocks and other thrown items are great for close-range fighters. Items never miss. Extremely effective against targets with high evasion. Ignore defense, so they're great against high defense targets like pectite monsters. That's good to know as well. Items always hit. Rocks always hit. There's a lesson in there. If characters' HP is reduced to 0, they will retreat. Under the default settings, they will receive an injury. Each injury currently will reduce their stats, making them less effective. They must sit out of combat. Kyrie is immune. Team-wide AP bonuses granted if Kyrie doesn't fall in battle. So yeah. But it looks like that's only story missions. When I've gone on patrol with her, you don't get that bonus. So, something to keep in mind. Character that has fallen to 0 HP can be revived, but the injury is still there. Okay. Interactive objects. There are objects I can interact with on the battlefield. Treasure, which I've been doing. Gathering spots I've seen. Ladders and stairs and ropes. Can be confusing, but good, climb command. Okay. Burrows and water spouts transport a character to a different area of the battlefield without using up their action. The destination coordinates are specified when hovering the cursor over the yellow glowing tile. Simply move on top of them when the destination is unoccupied. It's kind of the same way the climb works, except climb takes an action. Okay. Switches. Stand next to it, select activate. There can be various effects on the battlefield. I haven't run into any switches yet. Loot. Loot can be obtained in a number of ways. Enemies sometimes drop loot. Loot may be obtained after battle. Store encounters provide special one-time rewards. Abilities that allow you to steal loot. Stolen loot has a chance to be more advanced than normal. Oh, that's good to know. Abilities that allow you to collect a trophy from a target, and if you succeed in defeating them this way, you're guaranteed to receive loot. I think that's the collect pelt. What must be one of those for the ranger. Has a chance to be more advanced than normal. Good to know. Gaining AP. If you participate, you gain a lot of AP for your primary class. Everybody receives some vicarious learning from observing their allies in combat and learning from them. Earned even for classes the character is not unlocked yet, which is amazing. I love it. A unique monster character that does not benefit from vicarious AP like other characters do. Once he unlocked a class, he gets bonus AP when he participates in battle against monsters that are associated with that class. Oh, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to that character. I don't know who that is. Tell me it's Bizarro. Tell me we get Bizarro. Sometimes, one character earns the title of MVP based on their performance. They receive a substantial AP bonus. There are guest characters who are nominally on the player's side. Anadine. A small AP bonus will be awarded if they survive the fight. Story battles reward more AP than patrols do. AP amounts awarded are affected by your party's level relative to the enemies. If your party is significantly higher in level than the enemies they fight, the amount of AP they earn after battle will be reduced. That is good to know. I had been briefly considering going and doing some patrols in the lower level areas to try to earn AP without out-leveling myself, like over-leveling. But if the AP is reduced as well as the experience, then honestly missions are probably going to be the best way to get AP without leveling. And that's it. That's all you got for me, huh? Oh, battlefield. Right. Unit info. Character information. doesn't look like... Okay. Okay. So this is... In battle, the bottom left corner is where I see the character's name. Page 1 is most important with vital statistics and elemental resistances. And then I can move pages. I can see their equipment and debuffs. Debuff immunities, rather. I can even look at descriptions of their gear. Weapons ranges. I can use... Page 3 shows active abilities from their primary class. And get information about them. Page 4 shows the active abilities from your subclass. Page 5 shows your passive abilities and counter ability. Awesome. It's I guess it's good to know that it's there. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be using that. Although, honestly, I should take more advantage of it. I was complaining earlier about how I'm having trouble remembering some things because it's similar but different from what I'm used to. So but this game gives you so many places to double check things. Like, nothing is hidden, and I really like that. Classes and subclasses, I think we understand that. Experience and leveling up. I think we understand this. Wait. Ooh, removing a debuff counts as... that makes sense. It's basically succeeding at a thing, so that makes sense. Okay, statistics. This is important. Hit points. Mana points. Hit points, we understand that. Mana points. A resource. Characters need to use certain abilities in combat. Characters will have 0 MP at the start of a battle and gain 10 MP at the start of every turn. MP is usually required to use the strongest abilities in the game. So this isn't a game where your abilities are finite. It's just you have to charge them up sometimes, basically, but over a few turns. So that's good to know. That specifically, it's good to know. I had the feeling that that's how it worked. I just hadn't specifically stated it out loud, I think, in this playthrough so far. But it's really good to know exactly how much you get every turn. Attack. Mind is magical prowess. Defense is your resilience to physical damage. Resistance is your resilience to magic damage. Speed helps you go faster. Evasion represents your ability to completely evade an incoming attack action. And critical chance. That is the heart with the sword through it. That is critical chance. Critical hits by default do 50% more damage, and will automatically apply any debuff that the attack might have. Critical hit chance is based on your current class and the equipment. My headset is being weird suddenly. I'm only getting the music in my left ear. I'm not getting in my right ear. That's... Oh, I fixed it. I don't know what I did. Okay, anyway. Only regular attacks can become critical hits, but with a special passive abilities could also get a critical hit, so that's something to look out for. Conditions. Sword with an up is attack up, more attack. Staff with an up is mind, attack, mind up. Shield with an up is defense up. Green shield with a star in the middle with an up is resistance. Heart with a sword through it and up is critical up. Okay, it's sort of like... Oh no, is that... Oh my goodness, if that's a hedgehog. There's like a little face and it's spiky and there's 2 little feet. That's thorns. Haste is an hourglass with wings. Renew is a heart with a plus sign. Rebirth is that's sort of like the what you call it, the winged serpent staff representative of Hermes and medical people. That's Rebirth. Mirage, you can see a blue silhouette with two smaller silhouettes behind it. Makes sense. Mirage will automatically evade the next offensive damaging action. And Barrier, a unit with Barrier will automatically evade the next offensive status effect. Barrier is a silhouette with green starburst behind it. Rebirth, it doesn't say if Rebirth lets them have an... I suspect that they still get an injury, though, with Rebirth. So that's good to know. Elemental Aegis. Elemental Aegis will have high resistance to the last element they were attacked with. Interesting. Let's scroll down gently. That is interesting. And there's a sort of a hand with appropriate element. Focus will deal 2 times damage on the next action they take, which will remove focus. Haven't seen that yet, but good to know. Boon. A unit with Boon will have a guaranteed critical hit on the next action they take. So it's the critical hit sign with an infinity symbol. Debuffs. Poison is the flask and down. Damage is based on max HP, but won't bring you below 1 HP. Bleed. Blood drops. Based on max HP every turn. So they're both every turn. I did see poison affects you after your turn, rather than the start of your turn. I wonder if bleed is the same. You won't go below 1 hit point. So it's good to know you don't go below 1. So I can't poison somebody and let them go. Or I guess I can poison somebody and let them go if they run away and stay in the corner. But I'm not going to be doing that kind of grinding in this game. I shouldn't have to. Let's see, blind, the eye with a slash through it. Root, we've seen. Can't move. Mute, can't use spells, which is mentioned in the description box of the ability. Cripple is a shattered bone. No skills abilities. So mute is spells abilities and cripple is skills abilities. Sleep. Skip their next turn. They will wake up when they receive damage. If you're asleep, you cannot be berserked or charmed. Good to know. Berserk, sleep, and charm are mutually exclusive. Berserk. Unit will mindlessly attack the nearest target, friend or foe. And Charm will take actions that benefit the Charmer's team. The character receives damage that will be removed. Slow, it's a little snail that's adorable. They move slower than usual. Their turn comes slower than usual. Let's see, there's attack, mind, defense, and resistance down. Weakness. Any normal healing applied will be reduced to 0. Okay. Interesting. What do they mean by normal? Maybe like renew would still work? Exhausted. Can't have the quicken spell cast on them until exhausted wears off. Cannot be dispelled by any means. The quicken counter ignores this debuff. Interesting. Haven't seen that one yet. Okay, and that's all the status effects. Good. Resistances. There's elemental resistance and debuff immunities. Debuff immunities are all or nothing. If it's highlighted, they are totally immune. If it's not highlighted, they can be afflicted like normal. Good to know. Whereas elemental resistances are a percentile thing. Minus 50 resistance is 50% more damage. 50 resistance, 50% less damage. And anything above 100, positive 100%, is healing. Okay. Sorry, need a drink. My throat's getting to me this today. Troops menu. Equipment. It is not always the best choice to equip the weapon with the highest attack power, or the armor with the highest defense. A number of special qualities that make them well suited to different situations. Weapons with extra range can be especially potent, despite their generally lower attack power. Types of weapons and armors are restricted by class. Only one helmet and one set of body armor. Hands can be a one-handed weapon plus shield if capable, or a two-handed weapon. Some passive abilities will enable even more possibilities. Two-handed weapons in one hand, or the ability to hold two weapons. Bows and crossbows require two hands to wield under all circumstances. That's good to know. Crossbows, this was throwing me. Crossbows in Final Fantasy Tactics were one-handed bows, and you could use a shield with them. So in this case, they're all two-handed, so that's good to know. Accessories are a free-form matter. Equip as many boot or glove-type accessories as they want. Okay, so you can equip... That's interesting. I'm wearing 3 pairs of gloves. Abilities... active abilities, passive counter. Okay, I'm pretty sure I understand that. Class change, I think I understand that. Sorting, straightforward. Dismissing. If for any reason you wish to remove a character from your army, you can dismiss them in the troops menu. They're gone forever and never coming back. Use it with caution. Story characters cannot be dismissed. The right components, you can craft new stuff. I understand crafting. Difficulty settings, I had to learn about, but I think I understand it. And you can change it in the troops menu. Thank God. I'm wondering how many people can I have? That's something I'm wondering. From the world map, you can access the troops menu. You can move around. Red node is the next story. Green node is a battlefield. You can patrol it. Large blue node is a town. Hire troops and visit shops. A few towns can be patrolled to initiate an optional battle as well. A small blue node is a neutral node. They usually cannot be interacted with. There may be the exclamation mark symbol, which is optional dialogue. Gives insight into the characters' backstories and personalities. So, I guess if you're like speedrunning or don't care about the story, you can skip those, but I mean, why would you? Hire new teammates. Hire any class you've unlocked. You can pay more money to have them leveled up. A character hired as an advanced class may lose access to it if they change class. They would then need to fulfill the normal requirements. That's good to know. Newly hired characters start with some bonus AP for any classes the rest of my team has been using. Hiring a character, you'll be able to select their visual appearance, etc. You can customize the appearance of existing characters other than story characters. Shops, pretty straightforward. Patrolling, pretty straightforward. Okay, hang on. Minimum and maximum level for the enemies encountered during patrol. This level range is displayed on the world map. Enemies will scale within this range to match your 6 strongest characters. Okay. So it's not your 1 strongest, it's probably rough average of your 6 strongest. So that's good to know. If I have 6 people at level 11 and 20 at level 1, they're going to be based on the level 11 ones. So that's good to know. Good to keep in mind. Okay. Gameplay tips. Party composition. A diverse group of characters cover each other's weaknesses. Raise a combination of melee and ranged fighters, spellcasters, and healers. Six characters in most battles. Hire a couple of backup teammates in case someone needs to rest for an injury. A story character becomes temporarily unavailable because they become possessed by a demon. It's not what it says, but that's what happened. There may be battles that have more than 6. That's good to know. Look at the troops menu after every battle. Yep. Waiting. If a character does not act other than to move, their next turn will arrive slightly faster. This can be a useful technique in battle if the character cannot reach enemies. If you are not performing an action, you are also not getting experience. Is it better to get an edge in the turn order, or take a suboptimal action to gain experience? So that's situational, but that's interesting. Does not act other than to move. In Final Fantasy Tactics, it was based on your CT charge time, I think. That was when your next turn came around. If you did nothing, your CT reset back to 90 and would go back to 100 really quick. If you did one thing, moving or acting, it would go down to 50 and take a little bit longer. And if you did both things, it goes down to 0. Sounds like moving is free as far as speed goes, so that's good to know. Don't underestimate buffs and debuffs. Mute or berserk a caster to completely neutralize them. Cripple a physical fighter. Root to keep them from moving. That's true. Mute and berserk. I have access to berserk. Those jellyfish things, they weren't the main reason I got wrecked, but in that last fight. But I should remember. I do need to remember that. High hit point enemies are especially vulnerable to poison and bleed, which is because it's because it's based on their hit point max. Barrier, panacea, other protective equipment. Upgrade your remedies. Shoving in. Okay, here we go. Shove a target like the abilities that shove the target, like the Mercenary's Forceful Strike, are extremely useful to have on at least one character. They deal extra damage when they shove the target into walls, into other units, or off of high places, which was so much fun. You can even drown opponents that are unable to swim by pushing them into the water. Pushing them off high places deals varying damage, depending on the distance, fallen, the jump score, and whether or not they can fly. Stuck on a battle? Bring the maximum number of troops to each battle. Yes. Use items. Okay, was doing that. Try to bring down one at a time. Did my best. Exploit their elemental weaknesses. Okay. Study enemies before battle. Different weapons, passives, and counters may call for different tactics. You can tweak your characters in the troops menu during deployment, which is something that Final Fantasy Tactics does not let you do, and if they are doing a remake or remaster of the game, which I've heard they are doing, I hope they fix that. Because walking onto a story node, or getting into a random encounter, and realizing, oh, I meant to change somebody's job, and not being able to do it without resetting the game to my last save point, is one of my frustrations with Final Fantasy Tactics. So I'm really glad that you can do adjustments in deployment here. There's a help button on most screens. And advanced tips. Resetting to level 1. I'm probably not going to bother. But you can do it. Resets all their stat growth and levels. They keep their AP abilities and unlocked classes, so that's good. When they level up, they gain certain stats based on the primary class they have. Stat growths are viewable on the class change screen. Okay. So there's a few things that I still have questions about. Oh! Yay! Mission success! I forgot you guys were doing that in the background. Let's get different music. Portrait name, level, experience, class, hit points, mana points. Okay. That's right. That's right. I met. Okay. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 3 things. So probably 18. So I'm pretty close to the max, assuming that that's correct. But that looks like 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get 4 more characters total. Looks like. So I think that's probably the max, 18, which makes sense. I think it was 16 in the original Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, and 24 in the War of the Lions remaster. So 18 is a reasonable number. So I'm probably going to stick with these characters. I might... what I might do is try to get somebody into Wrangler and recruit another monster. Maybe 1 or 2 more monsters, and then I've got some extra variety beyond just human jobs, human classes. I think that would be good. So, okay. I could sit here for 55 more seconds, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it now. The mission's going to be a success, I guarantee it. And I'm going to go off camera. I might do a few patrols to experiment with some stuff. Mostly just to test out some, like, the Templar job I haven't used yet. I just recruited him. I want to try out some of these abilities and stuff just to see how they work before I come back and do another story mission. Most of my people are level 9 and 10 now. I'm going to try not to level beyond 13 at the most. But I'm going to try to keep people pretty even. Oh, and I'm going to do some gathering. There's, guess what? I sat around long enough. I'm going to do some gathering. I'm going to go get the cobbleweed pods and try to get some more aloe leaves. And I might go and see if I can find those treasure chests here, just for fun. Yay! Another success. So, that's my thought. That's my thoughts for next time. But for now, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you bothered to watch this one, I don't blame you if you didn't. It's pretty boring. I literally just went through and read the help menu. But, you know, sometimes that's good to do. Sometimes that's good to do. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye.